Okay, so first of all, how did the idea for this book come about? Did you get approached by Insight Editions, or did they approach you?
Okay, so my editor, Chris Prince, I've worked with him on several books before, including Totally Awesome, the greatest cartoons of the 80s. And he said he kind of had the itch to do a Batman book with the 80th anniversary coming up. And he didn't want it to be like any other Batman book before. He wanted to cover the comics, the animation, the movies, the video games, the toys, everything. And before I could talk myself out of it, I said yes. And, I had a lot of sleepless nights after that, but I'm glad I did it.
So, well, like you said, with the comics, toys, movies of Batman, there's a lot of history about it. How did you pinpoint that all down to put that into one book?
Oh, well, it's... Again, there's so much of it, and this is by far the biggest book I've ever written. It's 400 pages, and I did, along with my co-writer Gino McIntyre, we did more than 150 interviews. So I talked to Denny O'Neil, I talked to Mark Hamill, I talked to Julie Newmar. I feel like I collaborated with 12-year-old me and just said, who worked on Batman that you want to talk to, and make a list. And Insight helped make that happen. And DC, Warner Brothers, everybody was so incredibly helpful. And yeah, we did. Again, it was months of intensive research and writing, and working with the design team at Insight and DC. And if I left anything out, I would be shocked, but I'm sure people would tell me. But
that was going to be my next question. Did you leave anything out? But so, like you said, going back to when you were 12 years old, you're obviously a Batman fan. So, what was it like talking to all these people that had influenced the character throughout the years?
It was so amazing. I got to talk to Jeffrey Scott, who wrote so many of the Super Friends cartoons that I grew up on. I got to talk to Julie Newmar about what was life like on the set of the Batman 60s TV show. Found out Mark Hamill is the biggest fanboy in the world.
I've seen that on Twitter.
That was, I could have, I held back. I didn't ask any Star Wars questions until the very end. But he just wanted to talk about his favorite comic books, his favorite cartoons. He wanted to talk about Peanuts. Because I'd recently written a book on Peanuts, and he wanted to talk about that. And, I would love to hang out with that guy at a Comic-Con.
Yeah. So, look, just going back to the cover, sorry. So there's a lot of different eras of Batman that are based here. So did you pinpoint your favourite ones, or did you kind of get drawn to any in particular?
Well, it was important to have something from all the different genres. So you wanted something from video games, from the movies. I didn't want it to be like all film or all comic book. So it was important to kind of make it diverse. And yeah, some of my favorites are in here. The Frank Miller Batman, and I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, so I have some of that in there too. On the back cover, we have the more modern Batmobile. So yeah, it was a fun challenge to try to incorporate everything from the entire history into this one image.
And do you have a favorite era of Batman or version of Batman?
Probably when I was growing up, like I said, Tim Burton in the films. That was very inspirational to me as an artist. I just loved his vision of it. So I think that's my favorite.
Sorry? What about you? Do you have a favorite era or version of Batman?
If I had to pick one, it's probably Adam West. Yeah. And if I go beyond that, we'll be here all day. But I'm so thrilled that I got to not only interview Kevin Conroy, but talk him into writing an introduction for the book. And Michael Keaton, whose work just blew my mind that summer that I turned 13 and the Batman movie came out. When my editor picked himself off the floor and called me and said, now you get ready to faint because I've got some news for you. Michael Keaton's going to do the foreword. That was amazing. That was such a great moment.
So did he offer to do it, or was he contacted? How did that come about? And for the Kevin Conroy as well?
Okay, Kevin Conroy, we reached out to him, and he loves to talk about Batman, and so I got some terrific stories out of him. Michael Keaton, I didn't get to interview him for the book. Gina McIntyre, my co-writer, did an incredible job on the Batman movie chapter. She did the research. She dug through all the archives. We got some great photos from Tim Burton. But you know what? It's going to sound crazy, but I feel like I've got this animosity toward Dumbo, because the Dumbo movie is why I could not, schedule-wise, I couldn't talk to Tim Burton myself. I couldn't talk to Michael Keaton myself. I couldn't get Danny DeVito because they were all working on this live-action Dumbo movie, and I'm gonna hate that movie for the rest of my days because of that. Gina, I think managed to talk to Tim Burton a little bit, and while I was busy on the other sections of the book, and Dumbo. But yeah, I was so thrilled. You could have knocked. Well, it's a Dumbo reference. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I found out that Michael Keaton was writing for the book. Yeah.
So you've worked with those different characters and fandoms and things like that. Other than Batman, are there any other characters or fandoms that you would want to work with or do a collaboration book with?
It's such a long list, and I got to say this. And my editor might be watching this, but my bookshelf's going to look empty without... I need to write a Star Wars book, but, you can't do Batman without at least thinking about Superman. And, I can picture John's cover right now. So, again, Chris Prince, my editor, if you're watching, let's think about Superman.
How about you? Is there any other characters or fandoms that you would want to work with?
I've had the opportunity to work on some that I really like. I just did a Star Wars poster set for Lucasfilm, and I got to work on a Marvel project for the MCU. So those are all dream jobs for me. I just love being in this universe, so the Comic-Con world.
Is there any that you haven't worked on yet that you would want to?
Oh, sure. Actually, this is a little out of left field, but Hellboy. I'm a big Hellboy fan, and I would love to do something with that.
So there's not really long until the book comes out. They gave it out today as a pre-early access for New York Comic Con. Are you excited about the release in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah. So my day job is at I'm the curator for the Cartoon Art Museum in San Francisco, and so we get the second sneak preview early release. So October 19th, we're going to do an event, and we're launching a Batman movie costume exhibition that same day, so that's going to be incredibly cool. Sam Hamm, who wrote the 1989 screenplay, and some other friends who work for DC Comics are going to be there. And I'm really excited about the just before Halloween release, which is the perfect time to put a Batman book out into the world.
Well, especially with the 80th anniversary coming up as well. Well, it's already been, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.